Morning all, welcome back. It is, Thursday morning today, just after 8 o'clock just. I'm heading over to the East Coast today. I've got that 160 to service. If you missed the previous video, I have a 160 to service up that way in the woods. And because it was just one machine to service over there, I've kind of had a look on my Doosan Connect app, and I found a couple more diggers to get serviced while I'm over there. So we're getting 3 machines done today, hopefully, if all goes to plan. Weather's a bit miserable, it's wet, so it is what it is. What do you expect for this time of year? So I didn't mention it in the previous video, obviously. The Friday previous, Friday gone, I had that operation on my ears and everything went fine. I've always been bad of hearing and one thing or another, so they put some doodahs in my ears to help, and it has made a big difference. My wife noticed that my voice is so much quieter now, and I noticed when I was editing the video, when I first sort of started doing my thing on the Monday, my voice was a lot quieter, so I had to turn the volume up in the editing app Doodah. So I'm trying to raise my voice to where it would have been previously, so hopefully you can hear all right. But everything's okay. I'm wearing a hat at the minute just to try and keep them warm, keep a bit of muck out of them, because obviously, try and keep the muck off them. So sponsored at the minute by Hydroquip again. So right, I'll catch you over in the northeast. Well, northeast, southeast, depends if you're in Scotland. Depends what side of the border we're on, doesn't it? I'll see you over there. Right, first job of the day, service this digger. Might need that to get out of here because it's a bit clarty, look. So yeah, we'll crack on. And it's this one, 3,000 hours, so it's a 1,000 hour and a 1,500 hour. Difference between a 1,500 hour and a 1,000 hour is just an AdBlue filter. So hydraulic return, pilot filter, cab filters, engine oil, 2 fuel, engine breather and an AdBlue filter. Sounds a lot, but shouldn't be too bad. So yeah, we'll go and get waterproofed up.
Got so much weight on my shoulders, enough to knock me out, but I'm still holding the throne. You never know till it's over. So pretty it hurts, just beware of the thorns. You got a glimpse and you can't resist, luring you in closer. Guess I got a jinx. You want an honest man, but you don't understand. I won't be here when you wake up again. You want an honest man, but you don't understand. I won't be here when you wake up again. Got so much I need to cover.
Right, I just got a gear oil to go in it, and I've got the inside cab filter. It's wet out there. I've done my best to try and capture some of the service. Hopefully the next spot might be a little bit more sheltered. We are right on top of the hilltop here, and the driver has done his best to get it in among these stacks of timber, and it has taken the worst of the wind off us, but it's not prevented the rain from getting me. Yeah, it's going to be a soggy day. Days like today, when you remember why you pack an extra pair of socks and a couple of t-shirts in the van. Oh, it's soggy. Oh man, I have probably got serious hat hair, but that hat is soaking. Luckily I've got another couple in the van. Goodness me, when you stop and you talk, well that's when the cold catches up with you. My hands are freezing. Jumped in the van here, and when I arrived here, or on the way up here, I had to turn the temperature down in the van because I was just a little bit too warm, just almost uncomfortably warm. Oh, I'm frozen. Right, on to the next one. Should be about 20 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour away, I think. Get that one knocked off. And then I've got another one to do after that. What have I done? I should have just left it at one. Oh dear. Right, I'll catch you at the next one. Lunch has been had. I'm at my second service of the day. It's still raining, so yeah, we'll go and persevere with the next job. Shouldn't be too bad though. We'll crack on. So yeah, I've got the machine running, let the engine warm up a bit. It hasn't been running today, so let that do that. I think what I'm going to do for this service is try and find me leggings, because they're nice and warm. They've been up above the cab, and I'll put this jacket on. I'll let that sort of drip dry. It's not just as heavy as it was earlier, so got a nice dry hat on. I'm not too damp. My back feels damp, but maybe isn't. Maybe just cold there. Maybe just cold. Yeah, right, I'll get geared up and we'll drop some engine oil in this. What's to do on this? Where's my next box? This one, I've got a return filter. Oh, I've got quite a bit actually, look. 2 fuel filters, engine oil filter, pilot filter and return filter. For the first service on this 140 LCR-7. This is the one with the nice rotor tilt on the front of it. You can't help, when you've got a machine with a steel wrist or a rotor tilt, you can't help but turn the bucket into a position what you can't normally have when you park it up. I always have to play with it. I don't know why, it's just what you do. You just have a play with a rotor tilt or a steel wrist or something before you park it up. Yeah, I'm sure in 5 or 6 years time these steel wrists and rotor tilts will be commonplace. I know they are in Scandinavia and spots like that. Yeah, right, I'll get dressed up because I'm starting to catch a chill now. So it is quite windy outside. I'll step out and we'll familiarise ourselves with this one. I think this is the first LCR-7 I've serviced. Might be wrong, but yeah, looking over it, I've got the engine oil filter here. That might be a little bit messy, but these 2 fuel filters should be okay. Pilot filters in the same position as the -5s, nice and handy in here. And then the return filters in the same spot as the -5s as well, so nothing too unusual. Belly plate there. Yeah, I remember on the -5s, the Perkins engine, they have the tap on with a little short rubber pipe. You have to sort of park them just off centre, but with this you screw your drain pipe in. So yeah, I'll set you up on a time lapse, change it up a bit. Yeah, we'll do that. Right.
Been with me for too long. Got a chance to start over. Disguise the man I was. Correct what I did wrong. You got a glimpse and you can't resist. Luring you in closer. I guess I got a jinx.
So I've just got engine oil to go back in the machine. We'll run it up, check everything out. I'll have a look over it as well. But yeah, that's all the filters changed. This engine oil filter was savage tight, but we've got it changed. I just sort of put a load of rags in the bottom of here. It didn't run out too bad, to be fair, so it wasn't awful. When you put that 90-degree pipe on here, it sort of sits about here and it wants to point down onto the track frame. So I had to sort of build up I had to lay a drum on its side and then have me drain tray up here. So I'll have to remember that next time, because I set off draining it and it sort of started to, well, the wind was catching it more than out else and it was running onto the track frame. So something to remember for next time. Another thing which should have pointed out on that service that I did before this one, yeah, you can see I'm having to put filters in here now because I didn't empty my filter bin last time I was out, so I'm overflowing with waste oil filters, and I've still got a 1,000-hour service to do. So yeah, I'm gonna come and return filters everywhere, but no matter. God, everything's just soaking wet in the back of here. I've been opening and closing these doors, trying to sort of reduce the amount of rain getting in, but yeah. And then this boiler suit, I've made a little coat hook for it to hang up so it can dry, but it's making a right mess of my door, look. Never mind, it'll be fine. So, I'll tell you what, I'll grab me funnel and we'll go and put a bit of fresh engine oil in this digger. I've just finished pumping the fuel through. So you've got an electric lift pump which is up there. It's just a little inline thing, so just to help it along, what I do is turn the ignition on and just pump the hand primer. Makes it a bit quicker. Tell you what you might have noticed, I haven't pointed it out yet. The other weekend there, I've put some little orange marker lights in. Looks quite good, I think. And then up on the roof, you'll see that. Got myself a CB in it too. And while I was in running wires for the marker lamps and things, I've also ran a wire up through the roof to here. It's not live or anything yet, I just need to put a fuse in my fuse box for it. I'll put a switch in here and I'll have a, with it to work light that kind of, you know, like a small light bar to go in here pointing out the way. Because as we know, it's getting dark at about 4 o'clock now, and there's still many things to be done at 4 o'clock in the day. So yeah, get a light in there. It's something that I never got round to doing in my old van. So I've run the wire there now, so it's just a 2-minute job to put a light in there once I get hold of one. So yeah, there's a little bit of an update on the van. Also as well, you might be interested to know, I've just clocked over 20,000 miles. Back when I pulled in the yard last night to put all the filters in, it was bang on 20,000. So yeah, 20,000 miles since, was it May when we got it, or back end of April, somewhere around then. So fast accumulating the miles. Yeah, right, we'll go and start this machine up and have a look over it, check the pressures and things. So that is job complete. The time is now 2:45. Next digger is 18 minutes away, and then after that I've probably got about a 2-hour run back through to Carlisle, because it was, well, yeah, it was 2 hours and 17 minutes from Carlisle to the first job, and then it was 22 minutes from that job to this job, and now it's 18 minutes from this job to the next. Nice. It all pans out nicely. I tell you, I do like using that app. It is really handy, like. So yeah, we'll be there before, well, just after 3. 1,000-hour service will be finished for, I'd like to say 4:30, but let's be honest, it'll probably be 5 o'clock. So yeah, got a lot done though, getting a lot done. Day isn't over yet. I'll catch you at the next one. Right, last digger, 140-7, 1,000-hour service. Yeah, happily 1,000 hours on this digger, and there was an oil leak right at the very start on it. And that's been it. Hasn't had a spanner to it other than me servicing it, so that can only be a good thing. Yeah, I'm running out of dry, wet clothes to wear. My jacket didn't get too damp on the last one because I was in that sort of dugout bit. It was reasonably sheltered, but it's still damp. I think I might just take a chance and put that wet boiler suit on. Yeah, that is the plan. But yeah, we'll get on with this. But it's not dark out there now, look. Right, no point standing looking at it. It's not going to do it itself. Just as I'm getting ready to venture out, one of the most frequently asked questions, generally on Instagram to be fair, is what gloves do you use? So the last set of gloves, those ones that are in there, I wore those same gloves all day yesterday for every single job that I went to, and I've serviced that 160 high track and the 140 LCR. It was only when I was putting the belly plate on that LCR that they finally split. They're tremendous gloves, and they're called PH Bodyguards is what they're called. And yeah, they're very, very good, very good. Keeps me steering wheel clean. There is nothing worse than a greasy steering wheel. This rain's getting heavier, look. of all the days this week to pick to do this sort of work, I tell you. Oh dear.
You want an honest man, but you don't understand. I won't be here when you wake up again. You want an honest man.
So I learned from the last service and I've stacked my drums up. That's the engine oil out. What I'm finding with the Dash 7s is start dropping the engine oil first before you do anything with the hubs. Just seems to take longer to run the engine oil out than the previous generation machines. So that's running. I'll clean these bung holes out. I'll clean them out and get those oils dropped, and then we'll move on to some filters. Engine oil, pilot, fuel premium, main fuel filter, secondary fuel filter, and a bit of, it's like there's some sort of moisture in that. You can see, I don't know whether that's like a small film of water, then it's white diesel and there's some sort of residual red diesel in there perhaps, or whether it's, anyway, whatever it is, it won't be in there much longer, will it? One of the recent videos, there was a couple of comments saying, oh, you can get these little pressure washers that you use when you're mountain biking. You just fill up like a 2 or 3 litre tub with water, and it's like battery powered, and use that to clean these hubs off. Not a bad idea, but I mean, I can't even remember to empty my waste filter bin, never mind fill up a tub of water before I set off for the day. It's alright, I've always done it like this, and it's no greater hardship, is it, just to do that? They'll come out now, no bother at all. So do this other side as well. There it is. It's always a bit of fun and games setting these up when you're on your own. sort of on and off the machine a bit. That gives the engine oil a chance to warm up. I don't think this machine's been running today. Maybe it has. There's maybe a bit of heat dried that muck underneath. So I've only had it running 15 minutes. Oh. Right, Allen keys. Just had a where have you gone? Just had a phone call there. Fella phoned us start of the week saying wiper motor, the splines have stripped off the wiper arm, so the shovel wants a wiper motor and a wiper arm. He says, oh, no panic for it, just when you're sort of down this way, so put the parts on a stock order. No panic, he said. He just phoned us there. We might need to make it a little bit more urgent. This rain, we're almost having to stop the machine to wipe the windows, like. So yeah, the bits would have been on a stock order. I think it'll be starting next week before we get down to that. So is what it is, isn't it? Like, could order stuff for, I could reorder them for next day, which I mean I would get them for, well, it's Thursday today, isn't it? So I might get them tomorrow, probably get them Monday. I've already stuff booked in on Monday, but I could move it. It's just 6 and 2 3s and half a dozen, isn't it? So yeah, rain's causing havoc, look. So we'll get this first filter changed. I really nearly very closely went to do the pilot filter first, but instinct stopped me because I've always done the water and fuel filter first. I always do it. I don't know why, it's just habit. So yeah, we'll get this spun off so far and then do the main body of the filter. There we go, that stuff's still sloshing about, and I might need 2 hands for this, bear with us. Yeah, it's a 2-hander, this one. So, 2 fuel filters done. I need my 24mm ratcheting spanner, which is this one here. All my drawers are filling with water, look. Yeah, just, how service friendly is this? Filters are just right in front of you. You're not taking panels off to get at them. You're not reaching in and having diesel running down your arm while you try and spin a filter off a million threads. Fantastic. I used to, at my last spot, I did a bit more than just, well, I didn't do a bit more than diggers. I wouldn't say I was an expert. Occasionally I'd service a tractor or a Manitou, and yeah, you realise how good you've got it working on diggers when you're servicing them day in, day out. And you go and do I remember the Manitous, is it 627? It had a Perkins engine in the back behind the boom, and you drop the engine oil bung out, and the position of the sump bung was right on top of the back axle. So when you let the engine oil away, you had to catch it in 2 different places. What a mess. What a mess. Right, I'll need a hand just to get this filter out the bag. Talking of Manitous with Perkins engines, when I was just sort of out my time and I had a van, I had a phone call one Saturday from my service manager. Could you go and fit a starter motor on so-and-so's Manitou? They were on with, I think they were laying a hedge in a field, and so they were taking all hedges out and putting them in a pile, and the Manitou wouldn't start. So my service manager had got the starter motor out from the stores and set it somewhere safe so I could go and collect it, and away I went, unbeknownst to me what sort of a job this was going to turn into. There would be this time of year this sort of time of year, and it was 632 or 732, can't remember, but it had a Perkins engine, and the Perkins engine was sort of on the side of the machine rather than on the back, and it was sort of long ways on, so if you stood it in front of it, the timing case would be in front of you, and the starter motor was down the right hand side of the engine, and then you'd have like the radiator pack. So I found the field where the machine was sat. It was about mid-afternoon, 2-3 o'clock, same time of year as this, pouring with rain. And for some reason I decided that my van could travel across a wet, muddy field, and I got into the gateway and the van sank, and there was nobody at the Manitou and the van wouldn't move, so I thought, right, I'm gonna need to get this Manitou started and pull myself out this field. So it was a good quarter mile, I don't know. It was a good distance walk from the van to get to it. And what a job, honestly. It was just more than arm's length away to get at the bolts that go into the flywheel housing. You had to, it was just, you couldn't get a ratchet in there, you couldn't get a spanner in there, you had to use long extensions. Bear in mind, I'm just out my time, so I've only got quarter of a toolbox that most folk would normally have at that point. And it turned into such a fight, and the day got away on us and it was dark, and persevered and struggled on and managed. Jumped in the cab to start it, and it turned over and started, and when I went round to the engine bay there was diesel spraying everywhere, and what had happened, they'd tried to smack the starter motor with a metal pole, and as they'd done so they'd managed to arc out the metal pole on the positive terminal of the starter motor and a high pressure fuel pipe. So when I started it, it obviously arced a hole in the side of this steel pipe. There was fuel everywhere. I managed to wrap it up with a rag so it wouldn't catch fire, and got myself dragged out of the field. Never forget that job, like, never forget it. Horrible, horrible place to put a starter motor. So yeah, you can tell I love my Manitous. I didn't have much to do with them, to be fair, just the occasional bits and pieces. Right, we're done in this cupboard door. I've got a return filter to put up top now. Engine oil's back in the engine. I've just got these hubs to do now, and with a bit of luck it'll start. So grab this. Everything just gets filthy. Everything you touch. I put my stuff away in that bin. That's my bin. And I'd rub right the way along them shelves. Mud everywhere. Floor's absolute disgrace. Oh dear, oh dear. Right. I'll quickly do this and I'll come back to you when we're in the cab. Alright. There we go. I've got a lot of waste filters, a lot of waste oil, and a lot of empty cardboard boxes. It is now the end of a very soggy day, but I've enjoyed it. Enjoyed it. It's not been as bad as it maybe looks. We'll see how it looks when I come to edit it later, or tomorrow night. Yeah, do scraping out my van a bit like. I think I've got a bit of muck from the last 3 jobs all muddled into one. My poor toolbox, look, filthy. Never mind. Right, we'll go and start this machine. Now I've got dark now. I haven't looked at the time yet, so we'll have a look. 18 minutes past 4 it is, so wasn't far off, was I, when I said I'd be about an hour and a half at this. 2 hours home will get us home for, should be home for, mute this radio before I get in trouble. 2 hours home will be home for half 6, won't I? Right, does it start? Yes, it does. Wiper works, lovely. So this is what I can see. Do you know, they are a nice cab. I do like these new cabs. Right, I need to escape out of this. Is it in favourites? Here, user menu, maintenance, expendables, maintenance. Right, we'll click that one, reset, yes, back, that one, and so on. So yeah, we got this serviced 19 hours before it was due, which ain't a bad thing. So sort of 19 hours would take us probably into the middle of next week. So we've saved ourselves a journey. However, there is some other jobs on the horizon back in this area, but it's put a day in, hasn't it? I did do the cab filters, you just didn't see me doing them. I mean, if you want me to prove it, I will, but I'm sure you can take me for my word. Yeah, that's everything reset that needs to be reset. Now we can go into the service menu, check the pressures. On, that one, yes. Analog. So we can see our pump pressures now. So if I put the pilot lever up, lift the arm up slightly, empty the bucket, so when I bring the arm in I don't scoop the cab up. $340-ish bar. Ideal. PA pressure, which is your top half hydraulics, 32 bar, and PX pressure, what do they call that now? PB pressure, PT, T for tracks. That should get up to about 41, but can't make it do it because I haven't got the space. Anyway, pressures look good. Negative control pressure, front and rear negative control pressure, look. So it's sat 33 bar, and when I move the arm it should go down the way. No, it goes up the way I was. No, it does go down the way, look. Rear pressure. You see that? Down the way because it's negatively controlled. If it was positively controlled, it would start at next to no bar and go up the way. Positive control, negative control. Right. Everything's looking good. Battery voltage, alternator voltage. Just as you would expect, really. Right, I'll catch you back in the van and we'll finish off for the day. So the time is 29 minutes past 4 and it is a grand total of 1 hour 55 to get home. So we'll call that 6:30 by the time I've stopped for a little snack, because I had all my lunch quite early on and I'm rather peckish now, so yeah. It's not been a bad day though. So tomorrow we'll get back to those 2 machines we were at in the previous video, plus there's a possible breakdown, not sure, haven't heard back, but there's a DX85. It's actually one we serviced a couple of weeks ago, I think. DX85. It was running and it stopped and then it wouldn't restart and then it restarted and then it stopped again. So he was going to have a look at a couple of bits and pieces. I've not heard back, so we'll phone him in the morning, see if he needs us to nip in and have a look. Yeah, it's not out of the way from where I'm going tomorrow, or too far out of the way anyway. Right, on that note, I'll tell you something as well. Obviously I've done 3 services today and I've filmed each service slightly differently. Which do you prefer? Me talking a load of nonsense and sort of just trying my best not to make a mess whilst filming with one hand, the time lapse, or the sort of snippets, or just a mixture of all 3. Try to make it a bit different, so you'll have to let us know. Right, I'll see you in the morning.